Alright, so week 2 of the UFL season is in the books, and if you like your football gritty, defense heavy, and full of special teams chaos, week 2 of the UFL season was basically a gift. We got momentum swings, game-changing returns, a blocked kick, and yeah, we're gonna have to talk about DC's long snapping situation. Before we dive in, if you're into special teams analysis like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and it makes sure that you don't miss future breakdowns. Alright, let's get into it. We're starting with Friday night, Birmingham versus Michigan, and honestly, this one felt like a special teams chess match. Right off the bat, Deon Cain fields the opening kickoff at his own 6-yard line, bounces outside, and takes it back 42 yards, the longest kickoff return of the season so far. Great field position right away for the Stallions. From there, Harrison Mevis went to work. He finished 3 for 3 with makes from 36, 21, and 31 yards. That puts him at 4 straight to start his pro career. Not bad at all for a rookie. On the other side of the ball, Birmingham's coverage unit was lights out. Devin Ross on the Michigan Panthers barely had room to breathe all night long. On this punt return, he misjudges it, lets it bounce, and the Stallions are on him immediately, just a 2-yard gain. And across the whole game, they gave up just 1 yard per punt return and 25 per kickoff. That's straight up dominating. This led to Colby Wadman averaging 40 net yards per punt, 4 yards over the league average, and helped Mevis keep 4 of his 6 kickoffs inside the 30-yard line. He also recorded the second lowest average opponent starting field position of the week, with the Panthers starting on average at their own 28.5-yard line. The league average is 30.6, so that's a noticeable edge. Now, Michigan didn't have the same luck. They gave up over 17 yards per punt return and 31 per kickoff. The Cain return early and Davion Davis's 36-yarder before halftime were both backbreakers. That Davis return especially hurt. Vernon absolutely nukes a 54-yard punt, but he totally outkicks his coverage. Davis had a full 20 yards of green and brings it back into Panthers territory, setting up Mevis for another field goal. It was 6-0 for the Stallions before half. Fast forward to the fourth and the Panthers claw back into it. Down 18-9, they force a Birmingham punt, and that's where things get interesting. Ross lines up so deep that when Wadman only hits a 38-yarder, Ross has to sprint up to get under it, and he muffs it. And who's there to recover it? Not a gunner, not a linebacker, long snapper Ryan Langan. I love it. That recovery basically sealed it. Michigan tacked on a late 39-yarder from BT Potter, but this one was all Stallions on special teams. Saturday night gave us the Blossom Bowl, Memphis vs DC, and once again, special teams took center stage. Matt McCrane went 3 for 4 with a long of 46 yards, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, Trey Berry. DC's long snapper is a converted tight end, and it really shows. I had him 6th in my rankings last year, and now he's dead last through 2 weeks. Only one of his 4 field goal snaps this week was accurate, and on McCrane's miss, a 40-yarder, the snap was wobbly and the laces were facing backwards. That's just setting your kicker up to fail. Christian Paolantonio from Pro Football Newsroom pointed it out in his latest piece. Berry's stock has been falling, and honestly, I agree. I'm not going to go as far as saying it's malpractice to avoid bringing in competition, but at this level, you need your snapper throwing strikes more consistently, and I agree it's for the best if DC starts shopping around. On his only punt snap in the highlight package, it's caught below Brooks' knees. Not exactly ideal. Still, Brooks makes it work, and he gets a punt off 42 yards, and Isaiah Honey muffs it. DC recovers, which is the first turnover of the game. Later, with under 2 minutes left and Memphis down by 5, they send Matt Coughlin out for a 43-yard attempt. The snap and hold are good, but protection, not so much. Left guard Jared Thomas slips, and Devonta Maxwell breaks through and gets a hand on it. The first block of the UFL season. The second special teams turnover of the night for DC, and that's the ball game. Coughlin was 2 for 2 before that, by the way, and I'm not holding that block against him in the power rankings. Finally, it would be downright rude of me not to mention Memphis punter Matt Mengel. He punted 3 times for an average of 42.5 yards per punt. What's more impressive is that thanks to a 15-yard penalty on DC that negated all return yards, he also averaged 42.5 net yards per punt. I clocked 2 of his punts with over 5 seconds of hang time, with his best being an absolute moon bomb of a punt that traveled 51 yards to the DC 16-yard line. It hung in the air for an insane 5.31 seconds before being fielded by Chris Rowland, who was only able to get 11 yards on the return. Moving on to Sunday afternoon, Roughnecks vs Renegades. Not the most thrilling game, but we got some pretty cool moments. First, Marquette King dropped an absolute bomb, 69 yards downfield, and it was downed at the 2-yard line thanks to Lawan Winningham. Beautiful execution by one of the top punters in the league. Later in the game, Jaden Price had a nice 24-yard punt return for Arlington, flipping field position right back into Houston territory. This led to a 27-yard chip shot from Lucas Haversik. He finished the night going 1 for 2, missing a 53-yarder before halftime, which was his first miss of the year. On the Houston side, Chris Blewett finally got a shot. 1 kick, 1 make from 41 yards out. Oh, and fun fact, both teams had Ortizes at long snapper, twin brothers Marco and Antonio. Marco with Houston gets bragging rights this week. He nailed all of his field goal snaps and made a solo tackle in coverage. Antonio with Arlington also had a good week with a clean field goal snap and an assisted tackle, but one of his punt snaps was low and King had to scoop it from the ground. We finish off in Sunday night with St. Louis, where the Battlehawks took care of business 26-9 against the Brahmas. This one was pretty quiet on the special teams front, but we did get a few standout moments. Nick Whiteside continues to be everywhere on kickoff coverage. He currently leads the league in special teams tackles through 2 weeks, and he made another big stop on the opening kick. San Antonio punter Brad Wing continues to impress with a 37-yard punt that was downed at the 12-yard line. He came back later in the game with a 57-yard punt that was fielded inside the 15-yard line by Battlehawks returner Ja'Cour Pearson. It probably should have stayed inside the 20, but Pearson made a good move to avoid the gunner and grab a few extra yards. The next time these two faced off, Wing absolutely smokes this ball 62 yards downfield, where Pearson is forced to field it inside his own 5-yard line. He found a lane but got caught after a 21-yard return. On the other side of the field, Sterling Hofrichter made his 2025 debut for the Battlehawks and looked great. He averaged 48.7 yards and 46 net, which is top of the league stuff. If he keeps this up, he's a lock for my top 3 punters once again in 2025. Battlehawks kicker Rodrigo Blankenship stayed perfect with 2 more field goals, including a long of 45 yards. Hot Rod also hit a 24-yarder that got wiped out by a roughing the kicker penalty, but came back out and hit a 22-yarder instead. And yes, Destroying, or should we call him Destroyer like the broadcast booth, did come out and make his only field goal attempt. He actually had to hit it twice because St. Louis iced him the first time. Despite a low snap that Brad Wing had to handle, Delahaye got it through from 31 yards, a clean make. That wraps up week 2. A lot of games were won and lost because of special teams this week. We had big returns, blocked kicks, long snappers making headlines for the wrong reasons. This week had a bit of everything. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite special teams play was, and if you missed my week 1 breakdown, go check that out next. It really helps the channel. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.